Jason, this is when, if I'm submitting a claim as a veteran, maybe I've been denied once or twice, maybe not. This is what tips the scale of saying, you know what, maybe I'm going to consider a Nexus letter, right? Again, AME information is going to be down below in the description, but it's those medium and especially the hard ones that are really, for me, like my personal decision-making process. That's what's going to tip the scale to say, okay, now it's worth it. So starting with probably the most common secondary in the medium category would be mental health secondary to chronic pain. Mental health is usually connected direct, especially in that GWAT generation, and just American culture in general. 10 years ago, which seems like forever, mental health was not talked about at all. Think about 20, 30, 40 years ago, the Vietnam era, I don't think the words mental health existed, to be honest with you.
No.
And then today, there's definitely a cultural shift that it's okay to not be okay, which is a fact, by the way. But so there's a lot of medical evidence that gears towards mental health direct, but some veterans have a back rating their lower spine at 40%, which is a severe back rating, in case people are not tracking that. 10%, you're fine. Like, I have a 10% rating for my back. I can pick up my girls and do all that stuff. Maybe in 20 years that'll change. Hopefully not, but it's definitely not a 40% rating. So let's say you have 40% rating for your back. You've had both knee surgeries, maybe you have some neck pain in there, all service connected. Your ability to, my daughter has swim lessons tonight. Let's say I had tons of musculoskeletal conditions and I could not participate in my daughter's development life. That's going to cause something inside of me, even like disdain or discontent. In the Marine Corps, we say a lot of hate and discontent. That's going to cause a lot of hate and discontent I have in myself, maybe my military service. That's going to evolve into maybe depression, probably some very deep depressive issues right there. And so mental health secondary to chronic pain is a very common rating that's connected. And I see this both with and without a Nexus letter. The only time I see it connected without a Nexus letter is when the veteran is very active in current medical evidence. Hey, doc, my back is ruining my life. Hey, doc, my back and my knees are ruining my life. And if you have those constant reports, you have a diagnosis of major depressive disorder, your chronic pain is mentioned constantly throughout your records, you have the evidence right there to submit the claim. However, I'm willing to bet my life that most veterans don't fall into that category. And so that's another thing that would tip the scale onto the Nexus letter, at least for my decision matrix up here. Mental health and chronic pain, to me, is worth it because mental health ratings are at 10, 30, 50, 70, and 100. I don't really see 30% ratings outside of direct insomnia. I've seen a few. The most common ratings absolutely 50% for mental health by far. 70% it's not uncommon, but certainly not common. And then 100% for mental health, it's just super uncommon. Okay. That might change in the future. I don't think so, actually. Jason's of the opposite opinion. But yes, as far as medium level secondary claims, mental health is definitely one of those. There are a few more, Jason.